Welcome diecast fans, I'm Tom Spanners Watson.
And I'm Frankie Yuri Gibbs.
And welcome to a special mini Mayhem event.
As you probably know, here at the Canyon we like to test new school cars versus old school cars, and tonight it's the chance of the Mini.
And the Mini was the unlikely star of a couple of great car chase movies. First up was The Italian Job, but then also Goodbye Pork Pie, the Kiwi classic.
And to me, both the original movies were better than the remakes, so let's see if that holds up for the cars as well.
Driving for new school, we got Mike and Rick, and in the old school, we got Vivian and Neil.
And if you recognise where those names are from, leave us the name of the show in the comments.
Vivian and Rick in the front row, Neil and Mike in the back. Vivian with a bit of a lead here, looking good. He gets a bit of a spin on. Here comes Rick up the inside. Vivian leaves the door open. Through goes Vivian for second place. And unfortunately, Mike and Neil stall out.
Vivian and Rick, definite rivals here. And unfortunately, Vivian came off second best here. And wow, look at that. Mike rolled all the way over and back on his wheels. That's crazy. I didn't even notice that before.
I guess being the prettiest of the four had him distracted looking at his own reflection.
Oh, what a fabulous drive here from Rick. Just picked his line perfectly out of Kahuna Corner, and look at that, zips right on by. Vivian realises he's left the door wide open far too late, but at least he crossed the line, unlike the other two.
So Rick leads out with a strong score. Vivian the only other one to get points on the board.
I always thought Rick was spelled with a silent P.
Oh, that's only when Vivian's in charge of the names. But Rick looking in charge of this race. The two old school minis try to chase him down. He gets a spin on, but the other two have crashed out, and Rick crosses the line again for maximum points, and this time he's the only one.
Those old school minis charged hard into Kahuna Corner, but they just couldn't keep it together. Look at that. Vivian, what a mad lad, rolling his car right over. And then Neil gets on his roof, so he would have spilled his lentils, and Rick walks away with another win and chalks up maximum points.
It's a real mixed bag out there. The two new school minis are the top scorer and the lowest scorer so far.
Well, hopefully the old school boys can push through and get some points on the board this time.
And there goes Mike. Vivian literally pushing his way through. Rick goes over. He's blocking the track. Vivian and Neil, the only two likely to finish, and they managed to get around the carnage that is Rick.
What on earth happened to Mike right in that first corner? Look at this. Vivian totally shoveled him right off the track, and he disappears out of the camera view. Oh no, there he goes. He fell down and actually hit the camera tower.
Well, Vivian desperate for some points there, and he wasn't letting anybody stand in his way.
And then up front, you got Rick as the meat in a sandwich.
Freezing.
But somehow he slips into the lead, but unfortunately couldn't get back on his wheels, and that left Neil and Vivian struggling to get past. But what a great job from both drivers getting around him, and Vivian picking up maximum points, and finally Neil gets some points on the board.
The top two drivers will be moving through to the next round, so if Neil wants it, he's going to have to hope that Vivian doesn't finish, and he needs to pick up first place, but it looks unlikely with Mike going over again. There goes Rick up the inside of Vivian. Vivian fighting back, and Vivian gets around to take the win.
Vivian doing a great job there, not letting anyone or anything get in his way. Going over the jump, he got a little bit wide, so did Rick, but whoa, look at Neil in the back there. Only just clearing the bridge after flipping around, but what a battle up front. A great back and forth battle between Vivian and Rick there right to the finish line.
Vivian lost a bit of his lead there by drifting onto that sidewall, then a little bit of a Dalvis Jenkins jank there from Rick, but unfortunately couldn't hold it on the exit, and Vivian slipped right through here, just bullying his way through, and that old school mini.
And because Rick didn't finish, that means Vivian comes out on top.
So both Rick and Vivian go through to the head-to-head final. This should be interesting, as we know they're bitter rivals.
And just like our other head-to-head races, it's first to win two in a row, and because Vivian was top point scorer, he starts on the inside lane.
As the drivers get underway, Vivian with a slight lead here. Gets a good boost through KM Corner. While he's on his side, Rick's gone off. Vivian desperately trying to make it to the finish line on his side, but he can't quite make it.
I said it before and I'll say it again, Vivian's an absolute mad lad, but look at Rick there. He was obviously trying to take the shortcut, but there's way too many cars in the infield for that carry on.
And a very unusual line there from Vivian through Kahuna Corner. Almost had good enough speed to make it all the way to the finish, but because nobody crossed the finish line, we restart them.
I've got to back the old school one here. It just looks way too quick for the new car.
And Vivian's definitely stretching his legs here. Much better line through Kahuna Corner, keeps it nice and clean, and takes the win.
So advantage to Vivian as they switch lanes. Is Rick going to be able to fight back?
Well, he's going to have his work cut out from as Vivian leaps out of the gate. Rick catches him up slightly in KM Corner. Oh, but he goes down. Vivian with an easy win here, takes two in a row.
And once more, we proved that the original is better than the remake.
Vivian had such a strong lead going into KM corner, but Rick almost caught him up, and it looked like he was trying to tag him there to stop Vivian crossing the finish line, which would have forced a rerun. But well done, Vivian got the car under control and takes the win.
I mean, just look at the gorgeous lines on this old school Mini. It's much nicer than the new one, and he's proven that they're quicker in all.
Yeah, I got to agree with you, Frank. I definitely prefer the old school Mini to the new school. The new ones are about the size of an SUV on the outside, but tiny inside.
Yeah, it's kind of like a reverse TARDIS. I guess that'd make it a Sidrat?
Well, that's enough mayhem from us tonight. Thanks very much for watching. If you've enjoyed this, remember to hit that like button and leave us a comment. And if you haven't already, we'd really appreciate it if you subscribed.
Do you think there was ever an episode of Doctor Who that was a reverse TARDIS?
Okay, that's enough from us tonight. Thanks very much for watching. I'm Tom Spanners Watson. He's Frank the Guru Gibbs. We look forward to seeing you next time.